Hello everyone. I'm here to talk about my handmade fun foam stamps. These are the shapes that I use, and I use these a lot. And I have a lot of them because I do try to make the same stamp twice and they never turn out the same. So I end up keeping all of them because they're all just slightly different. And I like things that are just a little bit different. So these are the shapes. I like circles. I have quite a few circles, but I like triangles and squares and that kind of thing. So this is just a basic how to make your own fun foam stamps. I do them in a couple of different ways. First of all, when I'm talking about fun foam, this is the stuff that you get in the children's department at the craft store. It's thin. I like the thin stuff the best. You can use thick. It doesn't really matter. But this is what I use. It's fairly inexpensive. So that is it. And when I'm doing shapes, I like to cut out my circles or my shapes and put them together to make a single stamp. And to do that, what I do is I cut out the shapes and I glue them onto bits of cardstock. So I will cut out my circles, my squares, my triangles, whatever, and then I get a piece of cardstock and I arrange them on the cardstock however I want to do it. And you see there's a bunch of different ways that I put circles together or triangles or whatever. So these are some of the circles that I did, and it's on cardstock. Then I glue the fun foam shapes to the cardstock. And I use whatever glue I have on hand. I have used E6000, I use matte medium, I use whatever. It doesn't really matter. They tend to stay put fairly a lot. I use mostly stamp pads when I'm using them. I have used them with acrylic paint, but you do need to clean them off immediately after you use them, because they'll clog up. The foam will get hard and you won't be able to use it anymore with the paint if it dries on there. So just keep that in mind. I do use paint, not very often, but I do use it, but clean it off as soon as you're done using it. So that's all I do, is I glue my shapes to my cardstock and then I cut out that cardstock. And then what I am left with is a bunch of shapes. And I like doing this way because I can have a ton of them and they don't take up a whole lot of room. So all I do to use them is put double-sided tape on the back of the stamp and use an acrylic block. And I can use that double-sided tape a few times, quite a few times. And then it is good to go. So let me move some of these out of the way and let me show you get a blank page out here. Let me show you how it stamps. That double-sided tape is just enough to keep it on the block, and then I haven't used this one in a while. And I just ink it up like a regular stamp. And it's good to go. I do use a baby wipe or a wet paper towel to clean them off. I forgot to get one of those, but I do use them to clean them off. So, and that's it. That is the basic Fun Foam shape stamps. They're unique to you. So these are some of my circles. I like the circles. Get that out of the way. And I do a ton of them. Circles are something that I really enjoy. I like doing the little dots with circles. I have put them together in little fours. Another way that I have mounted these stamps in the past is using a little bit of plastic, a lid. And I like, for the large stamps like this, I like a bendable plastic. And what I would do with this lid is just cut the rim off so I have the plastic and glue my stamp onto that. And then I have a fun little, let's do another. And I just have a stamp that it's hard to hang on to, is the only reason I don't really like this. The large stamps you need to press all along, or you'll get something that's not, and this is a stamp pad that's going out. Let me get you one of these so you can see. Let me see. So let me just ink that up. And you do need to press it all along so that it's even. If you just use your fingers with it, this is what happens. Well, it worked that time. Usually you just see my fingerprints in it. And I do like the bendable plastic because then I don't have to use the full thing. I can bend it and use just part of it. So I do use plastic like that. And you can get large pieces of plastic if you cut apart like a milk jug, water jug, those big plastic jugs. And I also use lids. This gives me something to hang on to when I'm stamping, like a regular stamp on a wooden block. It gives me something to hang on to. I can stamp, get a different page up here. I can stamp and it works pretty well. My stamp pads need some more ink. So I do like the lids. So I save lids of all kinds of sizes, as you can see. And I do put different shapes on the lids as well. So it's just another option if you want something to hang on to and you just want to create a stamp and not have to worry about mounting it on an acrylic block. It's an easy way to do it. This one is just one of those corks. So I have a fun little circle stamp, and I have circles on both ends. And then lately, and I say lately, the last few years, I bought these blocks from Michaels. They were in the woodworking section. I'm not sure exactly what they were for, and I do glue my shapes onto the blocks. Here's a triangle. This triangle I've indented a little bit with some pen marks, and that will, every time you indent the foam, it makes the stamp not inkable in that area. So like so wherever your ink goes is where it's indented, and then that indentation can't reach the ink pad. And so you've got a fun little design in your fun foam. I think this is the reason I really like the fun foam, and that's how I did the big circle stamp. I just made circles in the fun foam without cutting it apart, and you can see where those ink circles are in the fun foam. I like that. And then of course there's the fun foam shapes put together. Find a page that needs something. And that makes a fun little design. They're fun to make, and what I usually do is I cut a bunch of different shapes. I just get the fun foam out and I start cutting up shapes, and then I have all these funny shapes, and then I start gluing them onto cardstock, and then I cut them apart to make my stamp. And these are a bunch of different circles. Here's just some strips of fun foam glued together to make this funny design. This one is just a square with some pen squares in it. And it ends up being kind of a cool little thing. So you can see where I've marked the squares. So you can do anything with these things. They're fun to figure out. New and interesting shapes to put together. I like to put circles together. I like to put squares with circles inside. I like concentric squares, circles inside of circles, other circles inside of circles. Triangles I like. Here's some more circles, like a die. So here's my triangles. An arrow. So they're really easy to make. A little bit of glue on that one. They're really easy to make, and they're fun. And what I love about them is they're all so unique. They're all mine. I mean, even if someone were to do the same stamp, they're going to be different. They're going to be very unique to you. And so I use these a lot in a lot of my projects because they're mine. They're unique and they're interesting, and I love them. So I hope this gives you some ideas to make your very own fun foam stamps. I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. You'll end up with a lot of them if you enjoy it. So good luck, and thanks for watching.